the endless possibilities of, switching power off in, or shutting down cities, the electricity in cities, or, water, or whatever is controlled by some form of computer chip. We have a very cliched sort of version of what a hacker is, it used to be the middle class, skinny white kid, in his parents' house, There's no real archetype, I think, for what a hacker is, We visited a number of different prisons, and the first time I walked in, you immediately kind of go, wow, this is a whole nother world here, its own set of rules, and an incredibly intimidating and scary place. And you think the person you go into prison like and come out, it must be, two different people. You go from this digital tech world into one of the most beautiful kind of ceremonial, and historical traditions of that period. It's such a beautiful mix of themes, thrown into that end sequence, and there were 4,000 extras or something. Once again, I think most films would have said, "Oh, let's get 200 extras, and then we'll digitally kind of Photoshop it in or put, CGI to recreate the masses of people." But Michael said, "No, it's 4,000 extras," and that was a hard week of shoot, but I think it looks just spectacular. There's a process of kind of getting it wrong in order to get it right. You come in with an idea of what you want to achieve, but until you've kind of done the rounds on the various options, you don't feel like you've done it justice. I think that's part of his process is, we might nail it on the first couple of takes, and he goes, "Yeah, but I never want to leave it there. I don't trust, nailing, the first takes." And I think there's the work ethic he has and the sort of obsession to just keep searching and keep doing it is, second to none. If there's a scene which is intense and whatever, most likely it's an intense set, everything matches. And vice versa with, the more intimate scenes. They'll create an environment or, where it needs to be intimate, and so that it falls right back into it's truthful. There's nothing kind of fake. It's kind of, he gives you all the resources and tools to kind of apply, but he'll in amongst that kind of backstory and prep, he says now you walk into, a similar environment and what it should feel like. Directors like Michael who do a lot of takes, I think it's that reason of just, you exhaust trying to hit a mark, because we see you trying to hit a mark then. You stop playing the end of the scene or a certain point of the scene, you just say the words, and it becomes a lot more honest, and you start then noticing all the changes and movements of the other character and the set and the scene, and it's great. It's a luxury to have that much time and be able to do 30 or 40 takes, you just don't get that on a lot of things. So it was a huge learning curve for me. It sort of demands the credibility that his work gets, because there's not many people that go to that extent that he goes to. And you'll see him sprinting across the set and back again, and and another take, and
you're right, he's literally running.
He's literally sprinting across the set, and is as fit as a 20-year-old. It's incredible. There's a truth-telling style we all have, or as Michael says, whether or not consciously you know it, your subconscious is clued into what's right or wrong or what's truthful. That's the way Michael works. There's never a satisfaction completely. It's always how can we make it that bit better, or squeeze some more truth out of it, or how much further into this can we go. Signed on to the film, and I was in Australia at the time, and he said, "Okay, well, I need you to be in Chicago at 2nd of May or something." And I said, "Oh, I'm in Australia. He said, oh, well, you have to come back early because we have to go to this steel mill and see where you grew up. And this is 2.5 months before we started shooting, and this is where your father worked. This is the kind of people you would have grown up with, and you might have worked here part-time at some stage. You just immerse yourself in it, and before you know it, it affects you in some way, and you start to move differently, and you get on set then, it's that extra bit of confidence that I know who this guy is. I'm not trying to fake it. You kind of, it becomes a part of you, or you become a part of it. She's a real mirror to him about, who he's actually become, and what his fears are, and what his, the posturing he's continually doing, and he still has this kind of, anger toward authority in anyone, in that position. And so she's the catalyst for his sort of transformation, and him shaking the institutionalized version of himself and becoming, or showing his full potential. It's this love story from people who couldn't be further apart from their experiences and the worlds they grew up in, and everything about each other is foreign and dangerous, and shouldn't be allowed for various reasons, and which is quite special, I think. And then Michael found this dirty little safe house, kind of hostel feeling room, and the paint was peeling off the thing, and it had all sorts of smells which none of us recognised, and none of them were good. And there was, a whole, but this, you in the room and you're shooting this thing, and you realise all the stuff that's going on in the background through the window, the neon lights and the sounds and the movements of the city around that area was unlike anything I'd seen, and at one point I thought, oh, this is a room. We could be in a room anywhere, but you quickly realise, oh no, nothing's by accident with Michael. And every single set has that same sort of like, wow, there's something different about this, and I haven't seen it before. And he said that right from the beginning, that the film wasn't going to look like anything else, and it's certainly feeling that way. We were the underdogs at that point, and there we are having a makeshift. He's got a grinder and a screwdriver, and sanding the thing down to make it into a weapon, and then wrapping magazines around his stomach to protect himself from knife wounds or any kind of attack. And a lot of it was stuff that's pulled from, I think, prison. This is where Michael's taken it from, which is how guys prepare if there's going to be some kind of fight or attack. And I think you really feel like, there's not much hope at that point.